It's also interesting we see the lifespans of that time. Now you're going to say this makes no sense today because none of us would ever live this long. That's okay. We need to remember, and I don't understand all the science behind it, but the generative effects of the fall on humankind or mankind or the DNA or the genes was still in its infancy. It was still early. And we also know that the environment of the day was different because the flood had not come into the world yet. And so you say, Pastor Chad, do you believe that Adam lived 930 years? Yes, I believe Adam lived 930 years. I don't have any difficulty with that. All right? Methuselah, he's the longest recorded person that lived. He lived 969 years. Do I believe that he lived 969? Yes, absolutely. Take it as, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, I take it as literal. And you know what? If you look at it and you track these out, it's really interesting. You should track these out one time. The reason that Methuselah died, from what I can see in Scripture, the flood. It appears that Methuselah's life came to an end at the flood. Noah is 950 years old when he died. And it was after the flood, it was after these times that we begin to see the sudden drop in ages. Because we see Adam 930, Methuselah 969, Noah 950. Well, the son of Adam, or not son of Adam, the son of Noah, Shem, only lived 600 years. In fact, Shem and Noah died. I think Noah outlived Shem. Close. Then there's Arphaxad, who was 438 years. And then Peleg, through the genealogy, 239 years. So 4 generations after Noah, the lifespan of people went from being 900 plus years down to 200 plus years. It's interesting. Think about this. Here's some interesting things. Noah was still alive when Peleg was born. And if you track it out and look at the different charts and everything, Noah likely died or died very close to when Peleg died. In fact, in my charting it out, Noah died 10 years after his great grandson. Interesting, isn't it? Abraham lived only to be 175 years. Now here's one. Here's an interesting scripture, or not scripture, but interesting biblical understanding. Noah died only about 2 years before Abraham was born. If you track it out and you list it out and you put it on, you look at it. Think about this. Adam was alive when Lamech, the father of Noah, was born. I just say, it was a different world back then. But we see the lifespans coming down drastically through the course of that beginning period. And Moses, who lived 120 years, was actually unusually old for his day. And then we have the scripture that God's given to us in Psalm 90, verse 10, where it says, the years of our life are 70, and if by reason of strength, 80. And that's what we see today in a lot of ways. So people say, Chad, do you think the lifespans were figurative? No, I believe they're literal. I believe everything from Genesis chapter 1 through to the flood, after the flood, the Tower of Babel, and so forth, was actually literal, because if you look at this, these passages, these very people that we're talking about, are listed in the genealogy of Christ found in Luke chapter 3.